Our sponsor today is GLSA. For those non-members who may be dropping in on the call today, GLSA, or Group Legal Services Association, is an affiliate of the American Bar Association. It's a professional membership organization representing the legal services plan industry and provider attorneys. And joining GLSA is just a good way for solos and small firms to increase their business. Check it out today at glsaonline.org. Okay, my name is Tom Martin, and I'll be moderating and participating in this morning's panel discussion, which is entitled New Year's Resolutions for Better Business Practices, the Ones We're Keeping. I'm very excited to have our panel participants today who are Haley Bowman of AROG, Matt Hain, he's a Virginia Beach bankruptcy attorney, and Raphael Vernassel, a Rocket Lawyer. And each of us, as you'll see, brings a little bit of a different perspective to the table today. And in lieu of reading everyone's bio, if each of you would just tell us a little bit about who you work for, who you are, and what you do. And we'll go in the following order. Just Haley, then Matt, then Raphael. Go
Sure.
ahead, Haley.
Thanks, Tom. And thank you for the opportunity to be here with all of you and be part of the conversation today. I'm Haley Bowman, and I work with AROG, A-R-A-G. We, for those that aren't as familiar, possibly are a legal plan administrator, and we partner with both employers who offer our legal plan to their employees as a benefit. But then we also partner with attorneys to provide them the opportunity to connect with clients in their area. And our whole mission is to provide affordable access to legal services. And my focus is developing AROG's network of attorneys and also traveling to State Bar and other association events to help provide support through sponsorship and education and however we can provide support to those associations and state bars. I've been with AROG for almost a year now, and prior to AROG, I had over 6 years of sales and digital marketing experience, and I'm excited to share some of my New Year's resolutions and hear of all of your other New Year's resolutions here on the call today.
How about you, Matt?
I'm really excited to be here and appreciate you asking me to speak. My name is Matthew Hahn. I'm an attorney with the Bowman Law Firm in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We have 3 offices, Virginia Beach, Hampton, and Richmond, Virginia. We're the largest consumer bankruptcy firm in the state, so we help a lot of people, and we take a lot of pride in that. And you'll hear a little bit more about that as I discuss our resolutions, or my specific resolutions for this upcoming year. And so I'm looking forward to the call today, and thanks for having me again.
Sure. And Raphael?
Yeah, hey, you can call me Raph. Everyone, nice to meet you. I am the head of attorney services at Rocket Lawyer. I've been at Rocket Lawyer for about a year and a half now. I'm also an attorney, and prior to being at Rocket Lawyer, I actually serviced LegalZoom's. I worked at one of LegalZoom's provider firms for their legal access plan in California, and so I did that for 4 years. So I kind of understand the business from both sides of the table, both as a service provider, as an attorney, and as a plan administrator, which is my current role now. So Rocket Lawyer, we're a legal technology platform. We connect consumers with access to legal tools, including access to attorneys. And so I manage that portion of our business.
Fantastic. And besides being today's moderator, I'm also going to be participating. So just so you know a little bit about me, I'm a California lawyer. I actually work virtually from Vancouver, Canada, and I work in a mix of probate cases and providing legal advice on the phone. So that's kind of my background. So the topic today is New Year's resolutions for better business practices, the ones we're keeping. So what we're going to do is just think of it as we're all sitting at a table, having coffee and talking about the resolutions we've made, and take turns talking about where we're at now. And, you know, it's already the end of the first month of 2017, if you could believe that. So we'll just go in turns. Haley, then Matt, then myself, and then Raf. And we'll each talk for about 10 minutes, and then we'll wrap up with some questions. So, Haley, you start.
Fabulous. Well, thank you. Yes, I'm very excited to be on the call today. Full disclosure is my 30th birthday today, so talk about a
Happy
whole new
birthday.
twist on New Year's resolutions. How about just lifetime resolutions as well? Thank you. So I would love to just share a couple of New Year's resolutions that I have for myself in 2017, both professional and personal, in hopes that you might be inspired or it sparks a new idea for you, or maybe you can pick up tips and tricks that have worked for me to stay focused on achieving goals this year. But I define New Year's resolutions as goals that I've set out for the calendar year. So around New Year's, just on a personal note, I like to sit down and list all my accomplishments and meaningful events in the past year to be able to reminisce and celebrate. But then also I like to write out a list of goals for the coming year, and usually that's around 20 to 30. And then I like to pick out the top 2 or 3 professional goals and a couple personal goals, with the point of being able to keep my focus very simple, a couple overall goals to lead my success for the year. And then if I'm able to add numbers into those goals, or, provide some type of success metrics to those. So the first goal that I'll share for you that I have in my professional life is to promote my professional identity or presence and my company regularly and consistently online. Um, it's really easy and practical with schedules, working full time, and you get into a routine as a parent. It makes it a bit more of a challenge to regularly attend in person social events or networking events. And so being able to have a consistent presence online to do that is working so far this year really great for me. I did read an article about New Year's resolutions for business success, and it said too often the task of promoting a small business slips to the bottom of the to-do list in the press of urgent tasks. And I feel like that's something that I definitely, and those of us on the call today, can relate to, as we're constantly reprioritizing our responsibilities on a daily basis, if not hourly basis, depending on the day or week. So, whether your goals include attracting new clients, growing mutually beneficial business partnerships, making connections in the industry, these all tie into increasing the bottom line, right? And I believe in order to achieve these types of goals, you have to make self-promotion a priority for your business and your career. So promoting your business by getting the word out, right, creating that buzz. The word of mouth is always known to be the best marketing tool that there can be. And the first axiom of business promotion that you have to do this is that you have to do this consciously and make a concerted effort. So that's been one of my challenges, and that's why that's a goal for me, to promote my professional self and company regularly online. And the way I've managed this goal so far this year is really working out great. I have a 10-minute event on my calendar every Monday and Wednesday morning, so that within the first few minutes of starting my workday, I log into Twitter and LinkedIn, which are the two that I found work best in accomplishing the goals that I want and reaching the audience that I want. When I'm logged in there, I make sure to at least retweet, if it's on Twitter, or share on LinkedIn articles that I like, go through and actually like some of the content, or in some way engage with meaningful activity. This way, having those calendar appointments I know that at least a couple times each week I am engaging with an online audience, my network online, and controlling or managing my online visibility, which is important because, that's where everyone is now, is online. And so depending on your goals, you could set a reminder once a week or each day of the week, just depending on what you're trying to accomplish. But the most important thing I've found for myself is not just putting that on the calendar, and saying that's what prompting you to do, but actually following through and taking the time to log in. I have the app on my phone, so it's super easy to just log in there and engage. And then also, I do a lot of travel through work, like I had mentioned previously, and attend different events throughout my professional life. And when I'm attending those events at the State Bar or the CLEs, I'm representing ROG, and I like to find the State Bar or that section's Twitter handle or online page. And while I'm there at the event, I like to make a post and shout out to them, something similar to thanks for the opportunity to be here with you today, great program, and tag them in it. And so that kind of helps, the engagement, and then it also helps reach out to their audience as well. But the main benefits of following through with this New Year's resolution is not only am I increasing my online presence by engaging with others in my network online, but also positioning, myself as an expert because I'm sharing and liking the articles or blog posts that are relevant to the legal industry. Typically, it really is only 10 minutes or less. I'll find an article I like either inside the app or another source like Lawyerist or some of the other resources, and go ahead, and it's easy to share quickly. Sometimes I'll add my own comments and share it as well. But every time I'm logging in, I am looking at my coworkers or other professional contacts' recent posts and liking them and commenting or sharing or retweeting. I really love on LinkedIn how they make it super easy to reach out to connections with a quick pre-populated, happy birthday or congrats on your work anniversary message. A lot of times I'll add my own personal touch in there, and you just click and it sends it right to them. So it's great to continue reconnecting with those, contacts. And then also one thing I've done within there, and I used to give this recommendation when I worked with a lot of different small businesses, is it's always great, at least once or twice a year, I recommend Googling yourself or your business name to see what potential clients might see if they're searching for your services online. Business LinkedIn pages or Twitter accounts are worth considering because, like I said before, that's where the audience that you want to attract is right now. Other low-cost ways of implementing my goal to promote myself or ROG whenever I communicate, I like to make sure that I have my company name, logo, contact information, web address, slogan present in all correspondence, and also my email signature has a link to my actual LinkedIn profile, making it easier to connect with those that I'm, working with or emailing back and forth. And then I also have the ROG website links and Facebook and Twitter and links to the blog and that email signature as well, just to make it easier for those that are interested to connect and find out more about ROG or myself. So that's kind of on a professional note. My first goal, one of my goals this year, to promote my professional identity in ROG regularly and consistently online. Those are kind of the things that have been working for me. And then the other goal I'll share with you is a little bit more personal, and it is my goal to stay committed to being active this year. Last September, one of my friends and I Holly decided to get together and kind of be each other's accountability partner and committing to twice a week going for either 1 to 3 mile run outdoors. It was free. It's great. We both share the values of staying active because of how it affects us personally, feeling better physically and mentally, building confidence, which is great when you're traveling or addressing an audience, and then also, as we all know, an outlet for stress, being a full-time worker, wife, mother of 2-year-old twins. I really consider that workout time my me time, which is a whole nother conversation we could talk about, is making sure to take that time for yourself. But, I found that the dedication to my personal goals really helps to positively support my professional goals. And since we did that twice a week, starting in September, we both joined the YMCA downtown Des Moines here in Iowa because it is really cold in Iowa during the winter, and we're not that hardcore that we're going to run outside, but we've also increased our workouts to 3 times a week and integrated weightlifting. So that's been kind of fun. And then I'm planning to run my first 10K in March, which, thinking back 6 months ago, I would have thought that was an unrealistic goal to be setting for myself, but it's also great, and I encourage others to utilize the network that you currently have. For example, Holly and I were talking about, some of our roles and responsibilities and shop talk while working out one day, and we decided that we could make connections for each other. Holly introduced me to an attorney that she knew, and we now partner with him at ROG, and he has referred a couple of his colleagues to our network as well. So it's great when you can to, make those kinds of connections. And if it's not direct contact being made, where you're having someone introduce you to someone, why not wear your company logo shirt or something that's going to identify you or your company in public. I wear an ROG company shirt sometimes to work out, which hasn't sparked any conversations yet, but I know it's building awareness and at least making unders wonder what is ROG. So those are my 2 goals. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my New Year's resolutions with you, and please feel free to, share yours with me. I'm on LinkedIn, as my New Year's resolution would prompt me. I'm on LinkedIn and Twitter as Haley Bohlmann. It's Haley, B as in boy, OHLMANN. So I'd love to connect. But thank you for your time, and I'd like to pass it over to Matt Hahn to share some of his New Year's resolutions.
Thanks, Haley.
Wonderful. I'm sorry, Tom, did you want to say something?
No. I'm looking forward to hearing what your resolutions are.
Haley, that was great. I was over here taking notes on all that stuff.
You're too
I can definitely
kind.
Awareness on some of the social networks. I loved it.
Awesome. Thank you.
For me, what I'm going to focus on today is more customer service oriented. I have 4 specific things that I plan to do in the New Year's in regards to our practice here at Bohlmann. To give you a little background, like I mentioned before, we are a large consumer bankruptcy firm. We generate some business from the referrals from the legal insurance plans. And so as a result, I'm always looking for ways. We really pride ourselves on the customer's experience, our client's experience, and how to make that better. And so this was a great topic for me to speak on, because what it did was it allowed me to dig a little deeper and say, am I doing enough here? And as a result, I came up with these resolutions that I'm going to implement soon. The first I plan to do is reach out to clients more frequently. In the bankruptcy world, people get in a case, and we do a lot of Chapter 13 bankruptcies, which require a monthly payment. And everything's running smoothly. They're making their monthly payment, and we never hear from the clients unless something has happened. And I think that that's unacceptable. And as a result, I'm going to start a kind of a checkup process with my clients. I'm going to call them periodically, maybe 30 days, 90 days, 180-day review, where I just call them and ask them how things are going. What's new in their life? Is there anything they want to talk about? Is there anything going on that I need to be aware of? Have they had a reduction in income? Are their cars running? Do they possibly need a new car? What this does is it allows me to get to know the clients better. It creates more trust and confidence in our relationship. But it also allows me, when I think about it, it's going to allow me to nip some of the problems in the bud. When I reach out, 90% of what we do here after we file the bankruptcy is cleaning up stuff that the clients claim that they sometimes weren't aware of. For instance, they have a significant increase in income. They need to report that to me, and we have to let the trustee know. Or they want to incur debt that's over $5,000. We need if you're in the middle of a bankruptcy, you need the court's permission for that. So often those things will happen, and the clients won't reach out, or they'll forget about it, and then they'll eventually reach out to us, 60 days later, and at that point, it's a little more troublesome to get the court's approval. So if I can call them and do these reviews and ask them what's going on, hopefully I can nip some of these problems in the bud and be more proactive. So that's the first thing, kind of a checkup every 60 to 90 days with my current client base. Number two is I plan on bettering the welcoming process for our clients. When they first enter the firm, when they first walk through our front doors, that's it. I mean, we all talk about how important first impressions are. That's it. And that's when they walk through the doors, you want to immediately grab them. And for us, no one ever wants to come see us, right? It's the case of most attorneys, but for us, we're a bankruptcy firm. So no one ever comes running through the door joyful and happy that they have to file bankruptcy. It's a traumatic event in their life. People are pushed into it as a result of medical, as a result of loss of income, and some life-changing events. So if we can somehow make that experience better for them immediately when they walk in the door, and what I mean by that is just allowing them to kind of give them some reassurance, let them know we're here for them, we're going to hold their hand through the process, we're going to make it easy as possible. And so specifically what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to create, and this is going to take some work, I realize that. Hopefully we can maybe get it out this year. It may not be till 2018, but a welcoming video, that we can put on the TV when they walk in that kind of tells them exactly what to expect through this process and what it's going to be like and how we're going to be there for them and how we really appreciate them considering us as their attorneys, because they have tons of choices in our community of bankruptcy attorneys. And the fact that they're walking through our door means a lot to us. And we've realized statistically that about 60% of our clients are client referrals. So we know that if we treat people right, then they're going to refer family and friends to us. So that's a big deal with us, is making sure that experience is great and something that's memorable for them. So a welcoming video when they walk in is one thing I plan to work on this year. Number three is I'm going to set more detailed goals regarding returning clients' emails and voicemail. Any attorney on this phone or on this call knows that that's the number one bar complaint issue, is not returning, lack of communication, not returning emails, not returning calls. And like I mentioned before, we take so much pride in our customer service. I have a 24-hour rule. And I started thinking, I said, I got a 24-hour rule. I return calls, emails in 24 hours. Is there any way to make that better? And at first I said no. I said, no, it's not. But you know what changed it for me was when I had a family member, call the doctor, and I was sitting there having dinner with them, and this was a couple months ago, and they were telling me how impressed they were when they called their doctor's office and left the message, and the nurse called back before close of business. And she commented to the nurse, and she said, you know what, it means a lot that you called back. And she goes, if I can answer your question so that you can have a restful night's sleep, then that's what I want to do. And that really hit home with me. And I said, you know what, the 24-hour rule, no more. So I've changed it for me personally, where I'm going to return emails and phone calls by the end of business, so that if I can answer that question and allow someone to get a restful night's sleep, and not worrying about something that 90% of the time is an easy answer for me. It's a 2-sentence email. It's a 2-second phone call where I just simply answer that one question that's really got them bothered. So for me, that's what I'm going to do. It's one of my New Year's resolutions, is to really set that goal of returning calls and emails by the end of the day, and not within 24 hours, but just by the end of the day. And I think that clients will also benefit from that. And finally, the fourth thing that we're doing here at Bowman this year, which is unbelievable, and I love it, and I really encourage all law firms to do this. It was on our resolution list, and we are getting it done, which is phenomenal. We got this from Ken Blanchard's book. It's called Legendary Service. We gave that book to all the staff here, and we read it, and we said, you know what? One thing mentioned in that book is a service vision statement. And what that statement is, it's to your clients, letting them know what we're going to do for you, right? And it's similar to this welcome video, but it's written and it's typed up. We did it nicely. We framed them, and we have this service vision statement in the waiting area when you walk in and in every intake room that the client goes in. Some examples we have on this statement are that we are going to treat you with respect, dignity, and compassion. We are going to we know that you're a person, you're not just a case to us, and that we thank you for putting your trust into us. And we promise to give you our undivided attention during meetings, telephone calls, or whatever else may come about. And what that does is it really creates that relationship, and it lets them know that you've selected a law firm that has a culture of service. We are here to help you, and hey, you know what? We want you to know what we're going to give you, and we want to be held accountable to that. If you ever feel like our law firm isn't giving you what we're told you we're going to give you on this sheet, then hold us accountable. We want you to call us and tell us that, because it's our job to make this the best experience for you possible, the easy experience. You've retained our services, so we want to take good care of you. So those are my four things, just to recap. Publishing that service vision statement around the office for our clients to read, as well as staff. I think it helps for staff to constantly be reminded of, hey, what this firm's founded on, what our belief system is, and how we really take pride in helping people. They reach out to clients more frequently. Like I suggested, the reviews every now and then. Making the welcoming experience better for our clients, and setting more detailed goals regarding emails and voicemails, returning those. So those are my New Year's resolutions. I hope it helps, and I'm excited for it. And if anyone has any more to share with me, I'd be happy to hear them. And so I'm looking forward to hearing what Raph has to say. Thank you very much.
Hey there, this is Tom, and thank you so much, Matt, for that. So I'm actually going to keep my comments pretty short because I want to go to Raph, and really look forward to hearing what he has to say about his resolutions. I actually luckily found, I have this notebook I keep, and every once in a while I scribble notes in it and add some goals in there of what I wanted to accomplish. But I think the most important thing for me, I wrote at the top of it, and I wrote, don't confuse enthusiasm with priority. And I think I tend to do that sometimes. I read something new, or I find a new tool, or something that excites me, and I see all the promise and things I could do with it. And I need to be better about focusing on the priorities of things that are going to move the business forward. And of course I do that, but I just need to focus on what the ultimate goal is, which is growing the business and you know, having the freedom with my family and all that, and just understand that the enthusiasm is good, but not to let it you know, misdirect me from the goal. In terms of one resolution, it was organization. And in my organization, to accomplish some of the things that, like Matt was talking about, I've started using some software to do that. Zendesk is what I use. And for those of you unfamiliar with it, it was originally made for taking like issues with software. Like if you had a problem with some software, you would send a ticket in, or send an email. They create a ticket and talk to you about it through this email thread. And I just found it works really well for dealing with client issues and communicating with them and keeping it organized. And so, like one of the things Matt mentioned about people having inquiries, if they made an inquiry, you create a ticket in your system, and then you could prioritize it, assign it to other people, and then you can get back to them pretty quick. It has these macros that you could put into it, which are kind of preformed messages, and you could create macros for different issues that come up quite often, and that way, the response time could be really, really quick because they email in their question, you see what, identify the issue, and you already have a macro created for it. You can customize it a little bit so that it feels more genuine, but it's an easy way to get back to clients on issues that they have. As you know, one of my other resolutions was what Haley had mentioned. I need to get more active myself. I know that's a classic attorney goal, but that's something I need to do, and preferably with my girls. And one of them plays soccer, and just get out there with her more and practice and do that. But those are a couple of my goals, and I'd like to hand it over to Raf. I'd really like to hear what yours are.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Tom. I really like that comment that you made, not confusing priority and enthusiasm. So I'm going to start on my personal goal because that actually feeds into, I think it touches on an issue that I know I have, and that's patience with myself and looking at things long term as opposed to just short term. And I think enthusiasm oftentimes speaks to kind of short term excitement, and priority speaks to kind of long-term and patience in achieving goals. So funny enough, I guess my goal for my personal goal is working on certain kind of personality traits that would lend themselves to better achieving goals I set out in the future, both professional and personal. So yeah, it's a matter of patience, and that translates into business, it translates into personal life, really across the board. But that's something I know about myself, is kind of getting out of my own way and being patient with myself in getting to where I need to. On the professional side of things, I'm going to echo some of what Matt said with respect to customer service. Rocket Lawyer being a consumer-facing organization, we pride ourselves in our customer service. But sometimes we focus. We have two customers really, because we have our customers who are consumers, the general public, who need access to to legal solutions, and then we have our attorney network. And I'm tasked with making sure that both sides of that equation are working, and I need to do a better job of servicing our attorney network, primarily giving feedback, both positive and negative. So that's something for 2017. We have a lot of data that we get to collect with respect to customer satisfaction, how they whether they enjoyed or had an issue with the attorney that they spoke with, how quickly they're getting connected with attorneys. All those kinds of data points we collect, and we haven't done a great job of consistently giving that feedback and relaying it back to our attorneys, which ultimately trickles down to our customers, because our attorneys improve based on those numbers, and our customers reap the benefit of having really great service. So that's something that we started implementing this year, is a regular program to inform our attorneys on how they're doing. And it's as simple as that. It's just being communicative and letting our network know how they're performing, and then giving tips on improvement, or just saying keep up the good work, which is most often the case, because our attorneys are pretty committed and good good contributors to this program that we have. So that's my 2017 what I'm looking forward to doing, both on the professional and personal side.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Raf. One follow-up question I just had for you real quick is, do you know, is there any kind of way for lawyers to follow up on customer satisfaction? Do you know if there's some kind of tool that they can use to check on that?
Like with their own like clients.
Yeah, like is there like a piece of software or tool that allows
Well,
for customer satisfaction scoring?
yeah, there are. I mean, a lot of attorneys aren't taking advantage of kind of some of the more generic customer service tools, but there are SurveyMonkey, for example, is one. I've heard some attorneys adopting those types of tools to say, hey, how's your consultation with us? How is your, that kind of thing, where it can be automated. I'm not sure to what extent the practice management software out there, like Clio, for example, I'm not sure to what extent they have those specific customer service tools built out, but they certainly have emails that you can create yourself to automate, like after you have a consultation with a first-time client, for example. Or you can set up a campaign that goes out to your Rolodex of clients to gauge, hey, how is your service with us? Are we communicating effectively to you? All that kind of stuff. So there's definitely ways to customize that as an attorney. And then there are more generic automated tools like SurveyMonkey, for example, that allows you to tap into those kinds of customer insights in terms of satisfaction. I would definitely, for people who utilize, and everyone should be utilizing some sort of practice management software. I would take a look to see if they have integrations with services like SurveyMonkey and start leveraging those to get that customer feedback.
One I just remembered that I had used in the past. It's called Delighted, and it uses a Net Promoter Score, which for those on the line who are listening who haven't heard about that, Net Promoter is that question you get asked at the end of dealing with a company where they say, how likely are you to refer us to a friend from 1 to 10? And just kind of an easy way of keeping track about whether or not people are happy with your services. I just wanted to thank each of our panelists again for attending our teleconference today, and the listeners. It was called New Year's Resolutions for Better Business Practices, the ones we're keeping. And I want to thank each of our panelists, Haley Bowman from AROG, Matt Hahn, who's a Virginia Beach bankruptcy attorney, and Raf Vernassel from Rocket Lawyer. And thanks again to GLSA for hosting. Remember, GLSA is just a good way for solos and small firms to increase their business. Check us out at glsaonline.org. Thanks, everyone, and see you next month.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.